Hello guys, so today I made a program that reads out a comport and then send a keystroke to the PC, like an actual keystroke. So I would, for instance, press an H, it would show up. So it's very easy, and I had to look for it so hard. The program is written in C++, and actually the the purpose of this program is to make a car shifter for simulation racing. So I would have two motors that detects how the stick is positioned. It sends the data of those two motors position over via Bluetooth, so it comes on comport 5 in my case. You can check that in Device Manager, and then assign certain um, positions of the motor to a keystroke. So, for instance, if the motor is in a position, it would send a 1 if it's in first gear, 2 if it's in second gear, 3 if it's in third gear, and then I would assign for second, third, and fourth gear in the game to those keystrokes. So, but you're probably here to know how to read out a comport and to get a keystroke into your PC. But I'll quickly showcase how I did it. So let's first I open the executable. I found it easier than the debug. So open the executable so actually get a good terminal. Then I open my phone that gonna work as a Bluetooth device. Where is it? The stream. There we go. So this is your standard terminal app from that you can download from the Play Store. And then we're going to open Notepad where we can type in. So I gave every motor an initial, so you get Moto A, Moto B, Moto C, to know which motor it actually is. So we're going to send Moto A 1, 2, 3, or first need to connect. Connecting to Illinois 18. Connected. We're gonna send this, and then you can see 1, 2, 3 has been sent, and key 50 is pressed, which is the key 2 that shows up here. I didn't press anything, so we're gonna, if we send a 1, it will send a 1. There we go. If we send a 91, because it's every 90 degrees, it is the next gear. For instance, this is just a demo that I'm showing. It also, with a modulo, detects if it's above 360, but you're probably not watching this video for it, so it's gonna say 22 degrees while I send a 382 degrees. I'm gonna send a 1. If it's a negative value, it's gonna send a 0. So a 0 that shows up here. And 350 is gonna be a 4. Oops, that did weird stuff. 350, there we go, and 4 is pressed. Now, how I actually did this, so you actually only need to include windows.h, I think, I'm not sure, but you definitely need iostream to read a file, but bare bones, you only need windows. .h. So we're gonna make a char array with x. This will be important, and a handler, hComm. This is for reading a comport. For outputting a keystroke to your PC, you need an input. I know this is messy because this is an array of one value, but that's just how it is. And then a word, which is the key you want to press. It's in a variable. You can also just insert it right into the syntax, but this will be clearer later. To read out a comport, you're gonna need this commando, CreateFileA, and say which comport you want, and you can look at the commentary which all these means. Then you're gonna see if the comport is opened, because sometimes if the comport can only be read by one program. So for instance, I'm opening the comport via TerraTerm, and if I'm gonna execute the exe now, you will see error in opening serial port, because the serial port is already being read by TerraTerm. Now I'm just gonna close TerraTerm, and I'm gonna run the exe again. You're gonna see that it will succeed, opened serial port successfully. So make sure your comport isn't read by anything else except your program. Then it is a while loop because I just want the program to be constantly running. We're gonna read file, And then this is your variable you made, your handler that you created here. You're gonna read file. The output's gonna be on X. You're gonna read 10 lines from your comport. So every statement, like moto A, I'm gonna read 10 lines and then 2 0 values. Then I'm gonna check for the data type. So I'm gonna check for moto A. This can be done by a string compare, but I was just too lazy. Again, we're checking for duplicates because as you may have noticed, if you send twice the same value, because my program is gonna update a lot, so it's just gonna throw the motor value every few milliseconds, like 360, 360, 360, or like 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. But you don't want to like press 2 every 5 milliseconds because that's gonna overload the system. So it checks, has the value changed? If it didn't change, just skip all this and do it again. Has the value changed? You're gonna set the value in another char array. We're gonna atoy that so we can change it to an integer. Then we're gonna modulo to get a 360 degrees offset from it. Then we're gonna print that data. That's what you saw on the terminal. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is the part. So we already read the comport, right? So you read the comport. It is in X. Now we're gonna send a keystroke to the PC. So if the motor is underneath 0 degrees, it's gonna send a 0, which is hexadecimal 30. A 1 is hexadecimal 31, 2 32, and so on, so on. So if it's 0 degrees, it's gonna send a 0. If it's above 0, but underneath 90, it's gonna send a 1, etc. Above 90 and between 180 and 90 is gonna send a 2. Between 180 and 270 is gonna send a 3. Between 270 and 360 it is gonna send a 4. So we've set the value. This is a word. You can do this directly, so you can say here 0x44 if you want that. But I set it like this because that's easier for me in my case. So we're gonna put the key we want to press. We're gonna set that to key. Then these are the 4 commands you want to look for to send a keystroke to the computer. This is all it takes. Just include some libraries and these 4 lines. Now these clarify, I think, that you want to get it into a keyboard, which key you want to press, the flag, and then you're actually going to send it. So let's get more in depth in it. So because this is an array of 1 char, basically, let me clarify this in this example. So here I sent 2 chars. So we can actually do this 0x44 and 0x45. So this is a D and this is a E. So first we're gonna make an array of 2. Then we're gonna clear that array. Then we're gonna put in array 1, place 1 in the array, these values, and in place 2 of the array, these values. And then we're gonna send the full array, so the full input. Send input, we have 2 inputs we want to send. Input in we want to give, and this is going to return, so this function is going to return how many keys you have sent. So we have sent 2 keys because we want to send 2 keys, but to make sure we send 2 keys, it will return it. And so we see if it's not 2, it's going to send whoops because we didn't send it. And then it's going to end. So what I did here, I only had 1 key, so I only needed to fill in 1 space of the array. I send input 1 because we only had 1 key we want to press at the same time. The key value in, and we checked if it is received. So we did it in an UINT US. We returned the value in US, then we're gonna check if US is 1. And if it is, then we pressed key. The key double point key is pressed. Now, if it didn't send a 1, if it sent a 0, if this returned a 0, that means it is failed. So it did not press in a key on your PC. So error sending keystroke to Windows. Now, if this sends a 2, that would be strange, but it could possibly be. But this error correction is definitely only for larger arrays, or just to check if you want to check if the key press actually happened. Then we're gonna close the serial port. Now, if you probably noticed the smart eye among you, or how do you say it in English? I don't know. This is a while loop because I want the program to constantly run because I'm playing a game and I don't want it to end. Of course, we're gonna close the comport. This is actually very important that you do that. Now, if you hard shut down the exe, just code 3. If you hard shut down the exe, you will see that the comport becomes available again. So, like I did in the example, it becomes available again, and we can read data. Let me quickly send something. There. Oh, connecting. Give me a second. I'm on my phone now. But it doesn't seem to connect. Great. Yeah, it doesn't seem to connect. That's new connection. Conf5 isn't even in that. That is strange. But we did open it. It is stranger. There we go. So we're gonna send gcc4v, and there we have it. So make sure to close it. But if you hard shut down it, it isn't really necessary. Connection closed. That's really all to it. So let me summarize it really quick. For opening a comport, you need this, a char array you want to send it to. You want to have this code, then this code for error correction. Then you're going to read the file. And then that's basically it, because it is sent to the X. You're going to read that, and then you're going to close it. For sending a keystroke to Windows, again, you need the windows.h. You're going to need an input. Then you're going to need those 4 lines, which a hex value that is inserted here, either by a word variable or just directly into the code. And these is for error correction. So that's really all to it. I hope I clarified what you need, and thanks for watching. Bye.